All right, another quick recording. I'm going to do a little bit of a demonstration using Macrometa, which is a cloud NoSQL multi-model database. So it can do key value, it can do document, it can do geospatial, and it can do some other things. Let's go ahead and look at it really quick. So I'm going to bring up macrometa.com. I've signed up, but just see, the idea is that it allows you to have a distributed database fairly cheaply, and they do have a free account. You can sign up for a developer account. You can see I've already signed up, so I'm going to log in. And when I log into Macrometa, it will show my collections. Probably the best way to compare Macrometa is if you're familiar with MongoDB or Cassandra or Amazon's DynamoDB. In fact, Macrometa actually has a DynamoDB compatibility layer, so you can have code that works with DynamoDB and use that on a Macrometa database instead. So you can see it can distribute your data. It says to the edge, but to several data centers around the world. So if you have people in North America, Europe, or Asia, or Australia, they can access the data quicker rather than having the long ping times that you'll have in a single hosted database solution. So it replicates like Cassandra across the different nodes, and it happens automatically. So the first thing you do when you log in, you get your username and password, and I'm just going to show you how you can use the Python library with Macrometa, right? So I'm going to bring up my terminal, and I'm just going to create an example here. All right, I just need to bring up my cheat sheet here. First thing you do is you've got to pip install PyC8. I'm not sure what C8 stands for, but it's already installed here. Oh, it's not installed. I must not be using my regular virtual environment. You can see it installs requests, pandas, NumPy, and a bunch of other things. I'm pretty sure it does use NumPy pretty extensively behind the scenes for its like NumPy collections, lists, and so forth to do some comparison. All right, so I'm going to just open Vim, and I just want to I'm just going to call it using Macrometa.py. And I'm probably going to switch to Visual Code pretty clear. So from C8, import C8 client. And then the next step is you need to get your email and password. So I'm going to actually use environment variables, which is always a good practice. So I'm going to need to import OS. And then I can do os.getEnv. Give me a second here. I need my cursor to be a little bit brighter here. So that I can see it in Vim. That's a little better. All right, so os.getEnv for environment variables, and I've just got an environment variable called C8_env. And I also have my C8 password equals os.getEnv C8 password. So quick thing, I'm going to test this out. I'm going to Python using Macrometa. No errors, good. We'll go back into Vim. We'll actually open a different terminal. So VI using Macrometa. And first thing I want to do, I want to check my email and password. So I'm going to print my C8 email. But I'm not going to print my password because then I'd have to change it. Well, I meant to have 2 tabs open. I'll figure this out eventually. Okay, so it's not getting my password, so I'm going to source my, let me see. The project I'm working on has a .env. All right, now I can echo C8 email. There we go. And then I hop over here. It's still not getting my password. Oh, because I'm typing the wrong password. So C8_email. So it uses email and password. It also uses API key. I'm not used to doing this multi-terminal. There we go. Okay, so we've got our password. I'll edit all that out, supposedly, when I figure out how to edit things, videos. All right, so I've got my open terminal. I'm going to switch these around. So, and then I've got my editor. The next thing I want to do is I want to create a client. So I go client equals C8 client up here from C8 import C8 client. And it takes a few parameters. Protocol equals HTTPS. Host equals, and then it's gdn.paas.macrometa.io. And then port is 443. I really dislike programming languages that treat single quotes and double quotes as if they were the same thing. All right, so I need those 3, and then I need my email, and I'll use my C8 email, and my password equals my C8 password. And then I'm going to print my client and make sure everything's working. I'm always used to remoting in to a server and running commands, so I don't switch between tabs. Okay, so I'm getting my email and I've got a C8 client, right? So the next thing I want to try is I want to get my collection. So I just do client.get collections. And this will give me my collections. This is just like MongoDB collections. Just buckets that things go in. It's not strongly typed like a SQL database. There may be some typing you can have in here. I'm not sure. I haven't explored the Macrometa database very much yet. All right, so let's see. I've got get collections. Yeah. And then what I want to do is I want to print my collections. And I'll do that next. Hey, look, I managed to write and switch. And there we print our collections. So the first thing I want to do is I want to, I want to count how many collections I have. And then I also want to format it pretty. So let's format it pretty first. And I'm just going to, it looks like JSON, so I'm going to import JSON. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to pretty print this. So I'm going to do JSON dumps, dump string, my collections, and then indent equals 2. So what I'm doing is I'm using JSON to dump the string and format it with indentation, and this will give it new lines and everything. There we go. All right, so now we've got a nice list of collections here. We've got addresses, Dynamo. All of these collections that start with an underscore are system ones. So this graphs, analyzers, geofabrics, the Dynamo, replication, and collections are all system ones generated by Macrometa. The only ones I care about are the ones that don't have an underscore in the name. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to filter the results. First, let's get a count, right? So I'm going to print. I'll just put on a different line. Print. I'm going to use the F to format it. Print all collections, and then I'll just do length of collections. So we can use these brackets as kind of like a string template system, if I can figure out how to type. Let's see. Okay, that looks good. So we've got all collections. One last try. All right, we scroll up. We've got all collections. So there are 8 collections in my all collections. Great. Next thing I'm going to do, what is it? Control period, control comma, shift comma. I'm trying to remember end of line. No. The vim command, oh, it's probably $. Yeah, there we go, $ versus caret, yep. So if I am in, I don't know, visual mode, not non-edit mode, and I want to go to the end of a line, I shift 4 or $. We'll go to the end of the line, shift 6 caret. Think of regular expressions. $ indicates end of line, caret, the up arrow indicates beginning of line. So, getting used to Vim today. Instead of using Visual Studio Code or Sublime or something else. Okay, so I'm printing all my collections. Now what I want to do is I want to get just my own collections, right? So I want my collections equals, well, how do I do that? I'm not sure how to filter on that, but first thing I can do is I can do for collection in collections. Right, so I'm going to go through a for loop, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to say if collection name, right? Let's look at our output here. Yeah, collection name starts with an underscore, or rather if it doesn't start with an underscore. Name here, if not collection name starts with underscore. That's almost Ruby-esque in its bad language. Then what I want to do is I want to add to it, right? So I could just, let's start that. Let's print with collection. And so I'll do print, well, we'll get there. My collections, right? So I can at least print them, but I want to capture them. There we go, Control Shift arrow. All right, so I've got my collections. That's looking pretty good here. And they're somewhat readable because it's printing them one at a time. So I've got addresses and CX results, which is from the project I'm working on, a data mining system, which actually uses Selenium. So, but I don't want to just print the collection, I want to get it. So what I can do is I can do my collections and then append. I need to create my collections, of course. So I'll create it as an empty list and then do my collections append that collection. So if the name doesn't start with an underscore, add it to my collections. And then at the end I can, let's move this down here. And then I want to do length of my collections as a formatted string. And then I can print JSON.dumpString my collections, comma, indent equals 2. There we go. All right, Control Shift. There we go. Clear screen. Python using Macrometa. I've got a problem. So I've forgotten my escape here. That's the nice thing of having a good editor. It'll do that in string hiding. Okay, so we're good. My collections, it's 2. So, and we've got addresses and CX results. We're eliminating all these other ones: replication test, collections, geofabric, metadata, analyzers, and Dynamo. All right, cool. So our filter works, but that's kind of an ugly way to filter. Well, what can we do? We could use a filter instead. So I'm going to actually remove this. And I'm going to do it a different way. I'm going to use a filter. So I'm going to say my collections equals, well, what I want to do is I want to filter, and then the filter takes a lambda, or it takes a function, and I can name it anything. So this is like well, like a lambda expression. So I'm going to call it C, short for collections. I'm passing in a value called C, and my lambda is going to lambda C, and it's going to do something here, and then it's going to take another argument. The filter takes the lambda, and then it also takes my collection. So I'm going to take collections. And what do we need here? Well, we need that starts with underscore. So we do C dot starts with underscore. So this is saying for C in collections here, if C starts with underscore, and I guess what we need to do, let's actually keep my collections here like this. So I'm going to bring this back. I'm going to filter it the other way, and I'm going to get only the system collections. So filter C starts with yeah, I think that's okay. Let's print it and find out. And then we want to get the length of system collections. Parentheses, bracket, quote, parentheses, no semicolon. And maybe I'll spell system right. Let's see if that works. And then we will JSON dumps. And you know what? Well, I'll make sure this works first, and then I'm going to refactor that JSON dumps out of here. C8 client has no object fabric. I know there's an option to pass like fabric into there, so I probably screwed something up instead. Protocol host port, email, password, like you can pass in some information about the fabric into your client here, which is going on. Oh, I need C name starts with. I'm getting the name up here just like that. All right, still doesn't like it. Line 26, system collections, filter has no length. Oh, So I'm filtering it. So what I'm returning is this filter object, and I can do next on that. But what I want to do, right? So I can do next filter, and that'll just return me the next result. Rather than next, what I want to do is I want to just cast it to a list. List can take the list constructor, whatever. The list init method can take a filter as a parameter and return a list. So that should do my work for me. We'll see what I've done wrong next. And it looks good. So I've got my collections is 2, right? I've got all collections is 8. So we've got 2, and system collections is 6. 2 plus 6 is 8. We can do a good test there. And we can see it's got Dynamo, graphs, analyzers, geofabrics, metadata, collections, and replication tests. So all the system filters are done better there. So I'm going to do something next. I'm going to, rather than loop through this, I'm going to show you how, instead of a loop or instead of a filter, I can do a list comprehension, which in this particular case is probably going to be the most readable and easy to use. So I'm going to just eliminate this section of code here. Let's see, about 4 lines. There we go. And so what I want to do is I want to do my collections. I want to bring that in there too. Paste that. My collections equals all collections. Well, yeah, let's actually change that rather than correcting. All collections. That makes it a little clearer. Oh, now I'm regretting that decision because I need to go through all of these and edit that. I bet refactoring is actually pretty easy in Vim if you're expert at that. So what I want to do is I want to filter this, but I want to use a list comprehension. A list comprehension, you do this list, and then what I want to do is I want to say, again, I'll just use C for C in all collections. So this works very much like the Lambda. It's creating a variable C for C in all collections, and it's returning this C. And I can actually do things like this. I can let's experiment with that. Collection names, not C.name, C name here. For C in all collections. That should do it. And I just want to print collection names. All right, so I'm going to print all collections. I'm going to print system collections. And I'm going to refactor this system collections. Line 14. Here we go. All right, so let's see what we've got. We've got all collections. We've got 8 collections here. We've got system collections. We've got 6 collections. And then we've got just a list of collection names, which is, it includes everything, including my addresses and CX results collections. All right, that's good. But what I actually wanted to do was get my collections as a list comprehension as well. So let's do that again. So it's going to look the same as this, but I'm actually going to return the whole collection. So then what I want to do is I want to say C for C in all collections if Now it's starting to get a little bit tangled, right? And what I'm saying is if not C name. So what I'm saying is if the name does not starts with that underscore. So C4C in all collections. Okay, I think that'll work. And close square bracket. So let's parse this part. We're returning for every C in C. We're returning for every collection. Let's make that a little more explicit. For every collection in all collections, return that collection if the collection name doesn't start with an underscore. And then we'll print this out to see if we get it. All right, my collections is 2. We're doing good. System collections. We've lost our list of collection names. Oh, we're just not printing it. That's good. So then the other one I'll just print it out here, or I'll just for C in all collections. We'll create a fake reason here to just compare for C in all collections. This might actually be the easiest to read. If C name starts with let's instead of doing C starts with, let's I'm gonna look at my collections here and pick some arbitrary thing. Oh, you know, here's something I didn't realize. All the system collections start with an underscore, but I could also say if system is true. So let's see, system false for CX results, system false. Yeah, so that does look correct. That system is an attribute on the collection that we can use to figure out if it's a system collection. There's really not any other good way to filter. Let's do that though in this case. So so if C dot system or subsystem, let's actually go a little crazier. What I want to do is I want to import from types, import simple namespace. S is not capitalized in space. So I'm going to do something else. I'm going to say collection equals, I need to get that out of there. If collection equals, now I'm just calling the simple namespace init constructor. It's not really a constructor, I hear. And I just pass in all collections. Rather, I pass in the reference to the keyword arguments of all collections. So what this simple namespace is going to do is it's going to allow me to use dot notation instead of bracket key notation. So then let's start off by just doing print collection and look at that. Clear that and run it again. Argument after star must be a mapping, not a list. Oh. All right, let's go back and because I don't want to do all collections, I want to do just the one collection. I'm getting in Vim hell here. Okay, simple namespace. Let's see. I've probably got some more typos. So I'm still iterating through my list of connections, but then I'm taking this C object, which I think is a dictionary. Let's find out. And casting it using simple namespace. And then I should be able to do things like print collection.name, collection.system. And that's going to come back. Because that's a Boolean, right? Or maybe not. Nope, it's not. We'll see. It's lowercase true. So maybe it needs to parse the JSON. No positional arguments expected. Oh, I need to do **C. Something tells me this is probably going to be needed for cast from JSON into a dictionary or something. Nope, that worked. So it's creating a namespace type object. You can see it has ID, name, system, and it prints the name and the value of whether it's a system true, right? So going back over here, I can say if collection system print collection name, something like that. And remember, what I wanted to do was also some collections dot append, and this really makes this look uglier. So I'm going to clean this up, and I just wanted to show you the example using simple namespace. Run that, and well, I'm not actually testing it, so I'm actually going to clean this up, and I'm going to if collection.system. There we go. So this is kind of the simple version of the for each loop. And then I can do some collections is the length of some collections. And this is going to just so happen to be the system collections. And we got a problem. If collection, oh, it's a dictionary. Might as well just use it. Simple namespace. We'll go back to C since I mistyped it already. All right, I think we're done here. Nope. Simple is not serializable. Okay. So we're not going to do that. We're going to go back to if not collection, we'll reference it in that manner. So we're appending that collection that way. Now we're good. And then we got some collections as 6, and you can see it's all my system collections. True, 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 true. All right. All right. So that's an introduction to using collections with Macrometa. I wanted to show you one more thing really quickly, and which is really kind of the feature. I don't know if it's the killer feature, but it's the feature that made me want to try it. And that is that you can import a CSV or a JSON file. So I'm going to go over here to my other terminal, and I'm going to copy a file that I happen to have. Get from my current project. There we go. Results. And then I've got like the New Zealand National Championships. Let's go with the Men Elite because that'll have the. Okay, I don't want the spreadsheet. Okay. I want the CSV. Here we go. All right, so I've got this list of the New Zealand National Championships. Oh, there's only 4 records there. Oh well. And it has each competition type or category and a link to that URL. This will work for our demonstration. It's going to be a small collection with only 4 values in it, but what I can do is I can bulk import. And I think I'm going to switch over to IPython here to do that. So from C8 import C8 client. I'm going to grab this. Yeah, I can probably do this. I don't need to actually. And then I can do client dot. Nope. I just need an object to get the values because I don't know the Macrometa API well enough. All right, then I need to grab these fields too. And I'm probably going to have to import OS. Now I can try my connection. All right, and now I have a client. Now I can do client, and what is it? It's import bulk. No, client get. All right, so client.get collection. I want to actually create collection, right? Client.create collection, and what I want to do is I want to call it tongue-tied. I want to call it CX competition results. And hopping back over into my Macrometa dashboard here, I can go and see my collections, and I see really only my loads. So I see the CX competition results that I just created. So I'm going to insert that competition result in here. There's no documents in this database as opposed to my CX results, which has 10 documents. and my addresses, which was just their demo thing. So I can actually just, if I want to, I can go and delete that, which I'll probably do. So now I only have my two collections. The CX results, which contains a list of competitions that have happened in the last month or so. And then I've got the CX competition results, which is empty. These are just cyclocross bike race results. So then I can do client.get collections, and that will return me a list of collections just like I've done here. That'd be cool if I could filter that right there. All right, so I just want to get the collection, right? CX competition results. And I need to, my collection is client.collection dot that count, let's say 0. And if I did my CX results, it should say, what is it, 9 results? Oops. So I will do, I'll actually call this CX results. I can do CX results dot size. If I could type. Count, not size. Okay, 27. Oh, that's right, I've added some more results. So, not to worry though. Next, competition results. And I'll set the value there. CX competition results. Count, there should be none in it. Okay, so now what I can do though is I can do insert from file. Import bulk. Well, let's try insert from file. The CSV file path, and that file is the New Zealand results.csv. Okay. And I can get rid of these vanilla quotes, I think. Make it more readable. All right, so it created the results, and now we have 4 results in there. We can go back to our dashboard. I'm going to hit refresh on that. And I've got 4 results, the men elite, men junior, the women elite, all from that race, the New Zealand National Championships. All right, so that's what I wanted to show you. The Macrometa bulk import or insert from file also works similarly. So all All right, I'm not going to explore the API right now. Anyway, that is an introduction to Macrometa, as well as a sample of using different ways to filter results. So the first thing we did was we used a for loop to filter our collections. The second thing we used was we actually used a filter Lambda function. And this Lambda function, I could actually pass a real function name to my filter. It doesn't have to be a Lambda. But filter takes two arguments. It takes a function and it takes a collection. So, and then I cast that to a list, or rather I generate a list from that filter result. So that's one way. I can filter it. I can use a list comprehension, which is definitely, actually, in this case, is the list, definitely the shortest amount of lines, right? It's a single line of code. Well, I guess the filter is a single line of code, but there's a few less characters. This is probably easier to read than this if you understand list comprehensions, although saying it out loud is probably harder. And yeah, those are the different ways that you can filter results. By loop, by a filter of a Lambda, and by a list comprehension. And that's all for today. I always end these things in a really lame way.